What's up, nerds? We're your hosts this week. I'm Jake.
And I am Chad.
This week we are sponsored by Ray's Energy Drinks.
We are also sponsored by the delicious Crybaby Craig's hot sauce.
It is delicious. This week we'll be talking a little bit more about She-Hulk on Disney Plus, as well as The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power, now streaming on Amazon Prime.
We will also be talking about House of the Dragon, episode 4? 4?
Episode 4, yeah. That sounds about
Episode
right.
4. Now streaming on HBO Max. So yeah, let's get into it. This is the All Things Nerd podcast.
Nerd. Welcome back, nerds, to the All Things Nerd podcast, your weekly dive into all things nerd. So, Jakey, how was your week? Sounds weird. It doesn't flow as well as when you call me Chadley. How was your week?
It was fun. For the most part, I helped your mother move with your Faja.
Yeah.
Your mom is finally moving. Chad's parents did not, for a while there, live together. They live in different states because of work.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're finally moving back in together. So we loaded up his mom slash grandma's shit and shipped them off to
Oh, stupido, as you like to call it.
fucking Ohio.
I agree.
Jesus.
Yeah.
But it was fun. I have actually never, I don't think, hung out with your parents at the same time.
No.
Right? No. So that was a lot of fun. We went to Panino Brothers for lunch after we were done, and we ended up doing shots.
It was a good time.
Mega pints of shots.
Yeah. Oh my god, yeah. You order one shot of tequila there, and they free pour everything, so you get like 2.5 to 3 shots. Oh, I hear a doggo.
Yeah. I think. Anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah. Giant shots. Fantastic food. Also, Chadley works for them somewhat in a way.
Yeah, in a
So,
way.
yeah.
Yeah. And on top of that, my buddy Steven came up this weekend and hung out. He also helped us with the moving aspect.
Mm-hmm.
That was a fun time.
Yeah. Nice kid.
Yeah. It was the first time you actually got to meet him in person, which was cool.
In person, yeah.
Yeah. He partakes in a lot of our live streams and stuff like that. Yeah.
Keep talking. I'm just gonna shut
Okay.
my door.
Oh, okay. Also, this past weekend was D23, the annual Disney Expo. Um,
Alright. Sorry.
If you hear him in the background. Yeah, but so this weekend was the D23 Expo.
So
Totally cool.
professional.
It's all good. Whatever. Which came with a lot of announcements, which is super cool.
Yes. D23.
Yeah.
Lots of announcements.
We also got our first trailer for Secret Invasion, which will be a TV series on Disney Plus.
Also, Werewolf by Night.
Yeah.
I'm stoked about that.
That's gonna be sweet.
I was a little at first. So the preview for it's in all black and white. Looks like old school like monster movie.
Yeah.
And the whole show is shot like that.
Yeah. So it's
I,
gonna be.
I thought maybe
noir.
I thought maybe they did it just for the preview, but the whole show is gonna be like that, and that's got me stoked.
Yeah.
If any of you could see my basement, I have like all of the old school monsters like framed on my wall.
Yeah. It's
So-
super cool too. But we also got a glimpse in that trailer of Man-Thing,
Mm-hmm.
which is pretty cool.
Yep. And oh shit, I'm gonna forget his name, but the zombie is in there too. I forget his actual name in the comics, but
Oh, I didn't catch
in
that
the trailer. Mm-hmm. So we'll see some cool stuff. It's their Halloween special, so we're gonna get all the creepy stuff.
Yeah, it's
It'll
gonna be a
fun.
bit on the spooky side.
Yeah.
But it looks
Also,
cool.
I have to just say it. I'm sorry. They show TVA agents in the preview.
Do they? I didn't catch that.
Yeah, there's a part where they're standing there with their like sticks that like go on the end of it or whatever, and he's just beating the shit out of like 4 of them.
Ooh.
Yeah, so there's that.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That'll be fun.
Yeah. Anyways, didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, you're fine. I mean, those were the two like big trailers that came out of it. Um, there was first glimpses at like Ironheart, which is coming out,
Mm,
which will be awesome. Oh my god, so much that we haven't gotten trailers for.
yeah.
Um, we know that Armor Wars is coming. Uh,
Yep. 20 Armor Wars should be after
Secret Invasion.
Secret Invasion, yeah.
Yeah,
And then yeah.
like almost
Anyways.
right after,
Mm-hmm.
because they're supposed to lead directly into the Armor Wars.
Very
Uh,
exciting stuff.
yeah, it, a lot, and then also
Well,
some cool stuff from Disney too, like the first teaser trailer for The Little Mermaid. Anyone
oh
that has a
yeah, big
problem
deal, big deal.
with who's playing Ariel and stuff like that, get fucked and stay fucked.
It's
Um,
Halle Bailey. The
yeah,
first time I read it, I was like, there's no way her name's Halle Berry. And I read it
yeah.
again and I was like, oh, Halle Bailey.
I did the same thing. I knew it wasn't Halle Berry, like the
Yeah.
Halle Berry that we grew up loving, but I was like, oh,
Hmm.
that's weird that they have the same name.
Yes,
It's
that
like
too.
okay, but then yeah, it's Halle Bailey.
Yeah.
Um,
I think she looks fantastic. I think the show looks or the movie looks great. Yeah.
yeah, I'm excited for it,
Yeah.
and the people that have issues with it are the same people that have issues with the Rings of Power and House of
People
the
of color.
Dragon, and yeah, just not white people. So their opinions don't matter, is what we're trying to say,
Yeah.
because that has nothing to do with
Yeah.
anything.
Splish splash, your opinion is trash.
Banana.
Thank you.
Well, we have a lot to cover this episode because we're going to be talking about three different shows going on right now. So we're just going to jump right into sponsor number one, which is Ray's Energy Drinks. I feel like just talking to a wall at this point in time. We've been telling you guys about Ray's Energy Drinks for so long. If you haven't tried it yet, seriously, listen to the ad, learn how to save 15% or how to get a free sample pack. Incredible, incredible products, taste delicious,
So many flavors.
and zero guilt, zero sugar, zero calories, zero crash. Like, give it a
Say
try.
zero, say zero guilt.
Yeah, because like you're not
No, I
like
get it. I get
getting
it. I was
some
just
like
like,
sugary byproduct, and it's not like this is just something that like we get paid to talk about. Like, I genuinely enjoy Ray's energy drinks. I have some of their supplements as well. Like,
yeah,
great
I've
stuff.
got it. My closet is full of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So listen up, learn how to save some money, give it a try. We'll be right back to talk about all sorts of nerdy stuff. What's up, nerds? I wanted to take a minute and talk to you about Ray's Energy, an incredible energy drink that provides max energy with zero crash. Ray's Energy takes a giant leap of faith with instilling a high-quality formula to bring a powerful, yet sustained, energetic experience to help you push your workouts and focus to the next level. Perfect for anyone at any time, empowered by their refresh formula technology, Ray's Energy delivers a performance-enhancing energy drink that aids in multiple different categories that include targeted focus, better recovery time, improved clean energy levels, and a boost in stamina and hydration. But most importantly, every can of Ray's Energy has absolutely zero calories, zero sugar, and zero carbohydrates to give you a smarter and healthier option. So don't settle for an energy drink that contains more sugar and carbohydrates than you can count. Instead, head over to repsports.com. That's REPPSPORTS.com and use the promo code NERDPODCAST at checkout for 15% off your order. Or if you don't know what you want, go ahead and click the link that's in the description to get a $50 sample pack for free. All you do is you cover the cost of shipping. Again, make sure you use promo code NERDPODCAST at checkout to let them know that we sent you.
Okay, friends, we are going to jump into She-Hulk episode shit. What episode is it? 4?
3 or 4?
No,
This is
this
episode
was
4.
3. 3. This one was 3.
No.
Yeah.
Did House of the Dragon and She-Hulk not start the same week?
I don't know, but this was
Hmm.
episode 3.
Okay, I believe you.
Because I was reading about when, spoiler alert, first of all, um,
Oh yeah,
and
you're right.
uh, no Daredevil sightings yet, but we have it on high authority that we will see him either this week or the
This
following.
was episode 4.
This was episode 4?
Yeah.
Ah, whatever. Anyways, that was dumb.
Yay.
Yeah. Woohoo.
Sorry everyone.
Uh,
But we have it on high
anyways,
authority that the
Daredevil will
next.
be in the next episode, even if it's not till the end of it. Um, which we'll get into in a minute and why we think he'll show up. Um, but this episode is actually pretty good. I think that they're doing a little bit of building and also being kind of I don't know how to say it. They're being kind of funny about things right now, but I think it's going to take a serious tone towards the end a little bit.
I mean, this
Um,
episode took a pretty serious tone for part of it, and then they kind of
yeah,
like
laughed it off.
cycled back to part of it, and
Yeah.
because a lot of people don't realize, like, Thor: Love and Thunder was a huge departure, and that was very Taika Waititi
Mm,
being Taika. She-Hulk being the funny, feminist, overly like very horny, uh, fourth wall breaking, like nothing that we've seen in the MCU before, is still on brand for She-Hulk.
hmm
But people are like, no. It's like you don't. This is the character. This is who it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like it's still on brand, but it's
Yeah.
different and enjoyable. I'm loving the show, but
Yeah. It's great.
it is supposed to be sarcastic, witty, horny. Like it just is. Like that's She-Hulk.
Mm, yeah.
Th-
Yes. And
and
that,
this episode portrays it because like she basically decides like I'm gonna try dating
get laid.
again. Yeah. Well, yeah.
I mean, it
She
basically starts from her
got to
friend
get it.
slash like secretary or whatever.
Paralegal, but yeah.
Is, she's like, you need to get laid. When was the last time you like, and yeah, so she's like, okay, whatever, I'll
You need to
check.
get laid. It hasn't been that long.
Yeah.
When did the Broncos win the Super Bowl last?
And yeah, so she goes on a dating website, dates a bunch of Chads, and finally finds a Jake.
Wow,
Uh,
that's super hurtful.
is
Actually,
it because
not
I was
because
like,
the
is it
Jake ends
because
up
he
kind of being the
that guy
fuckboy. Self-burn, those
I
are rare.
definitely hurt myself on that one. Yeah. Now she dates a bunch of weird guys, and I assume the ladies and people that listen to our podcast can relate.
I very much saw because I wanted to make
Have
the
been one of
joke.
those people. Yeah.
I wanted to make the joke where it was like the most unrealistic thing about this show is that no one wants to date Jennifer Walters because I
Mm,
think Tatiana Maslany is very attractive.
mm,
But then I saw a video earlier today that basically a woman was like, it's not that no one wants to date her, it's just that majority of what comes through is what we see in this episode of just guys that have mediocre looks that are like kind of losers. And just losers in general in the dating world. As a guy, we don't really get that very often.
yeah, because I think she, at some point in the episode, as Jennifer Walters, makes the dating website, and she's not getting really any
Yeah.
connections, and then she breaks the fourth wall, and she's like, "I'm not proud of this," and she hulks out and takes pictures of it's like sexy pictures of herself as She Hulk, and starts matching with like her phone just is like ding ding
Blowing
ding
up,
ding ding.
like
Yeah,
hundreds of matches.
yeah. But everyone is pretty weird.
Yeah. As She-Hulk, she goes on a date with someone. He's like, what a fascinating specimen. And she's like, did you just call me a specimen? She's like, I meant it as a compliment. She's like,
But then she meets, the guy oh, he's so nice. And he just says everything that she wants to hear. He's like, oh, I'm sorry, I don't feel comfortable about talking about myself. I'd much rather listen to what you have to say. And her eyes light up and blah blah blah. And literally, as my girlfriend and I are watching it, we both just like rolled our eyes and like, douchebag. This guy's a douchebag.
Yeah.
Because he's literally just that guy who's gonna feed you everything you want to hear to get laid.
But he's a pretty boy.
Yeah,
So it works.
it did work.
Yeah. And she, while this is going on, like in between dates, we see her like actually at work. And we also get a glimpse into Donnie Blaze.
Not to be confused with
Johnny
Blaze.
Yeah. He's not a Vegas quality magician. He's not even a Reno quality magician. He's
He's like a Minneapolis.
I was going to say like a Lincoln, Nebraska.
Oh, okay.
Or
Maybe
Des
Ohio.
Moines. Yeah. Strongsville, Ohio.
Yeah.
That got specific.
He's terrible. He's terrible. And basically the crowd is like booing him, and then he's like, "All right, you guys want to see something?" And he reaches into his pocket and pulls out a sling ring, and starts opening a portal, which is a no-no if you're not a sorcerer, which he's not.
So he started to train at
Yeah.
Comertage. Wasn't very good. Was more concerned with like fame and stuff like that. So he got banished from Comertage, so he can't be a practitioner of the mystic arts. But he stole a sling ring, and that's how he has it, and is basically like sending like volunteers from the audience like through portals, and then
Into like,
bringing them back.
yeah, but into like dangerous like dimensions and shit. Like he didn't even know where he was sending them. He was
Yeah,
just like, "Hey, open this portal and I'm gonna send you here. I'll bring you back though. Don't worry." You know. And then it would bring them back, and they would be like, What the fuck just happened?
And
Where did
they're
you send me?" Yeah.
terrified. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But so he picks a girl out of the crowd, and she immediately becomes a fan favorite of the show. It's Madison with two N's and a Y, but not where you think. She's just a party
Fucking
girl.
hilarious. She's hilarious though.
But when she comes back through the portal, instead of going back to the magic show, she gets dropped into Wong's living room.
Mm-hmm.
And he's watching The Sopranos. And just absolutely hilarious. Their
Yeah.
connection throughout the rest of the episode, and I hope going forward, is just...
Yeah. There's also, because they're basically Wong,
Benedict Wong.
Benedict Wong. I was like, how do I say it? But
That's his actual name, but his character name is just Wong.
he goes to Jennifer Walters to sue Donnie Blaze for practicing the mythical arts without the proper knowledge to do so, because it's very dangerous and blah blah blah. And they bring her in, Madison
with two N's and a Y, but not what do you think?
as their like star witness, and holy shit, her in the courtroom is so fucking if I get the hiccups, I'm so sorry. She's so fucking funny. Yeah.
Oh,
She's like,
Wongers.
yeah, Wongers, that's what she calls them, yeah. And then what does she say? She's like, he sent me to like some demon dimension, and she's like, and I had to make a deal with a demon, and I can't talk about it, but like,
It's Mephisto. I'm just kidding.
yeah. Yeah, it is fucking funny, dude.
But basically, while the trial is still going on, their lawsuit against Donnie Blaze for a cease and desist is denied by the court.
Not necessarily denied, it's pending.
Well, yeah, but they'd asked for it to be enacted while the hearing is going on.
Oh, yeah.
And the
And she
judge
was
is
like,
like,
no, you can
no.
still practice until...
Yeah.
Jesus.
Clark?
Fuck you.
But so basically then at his next show, because it's now kind of known that he is being sued because with She-Hulk being the attorney, like gathers a lot of attention. So when he pulls like a client out of the crowd, not a client, but like a participant out of the crowd to send them through a portal, she's like, I'm not going in there. He's like, oh, you want to see something better then? So he opens a different portal, and all the demons just like come busting through.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he basically opened up.
Portal to hell.
Yeah, I was gonna go with the Stranger Things, the
Oh, the upside down.
upside down. For some reason, I knew it wasn't right. That's why I didn't say it. In my head, I kept wanting to say the underneath, and I'm like, that's not it, dude. Don't say that. Like, yeah,
Close.
the upside down. Yeah. Yeah. These like bat troll. They're like
Demons.
pug.
And every
Pug
time that
bat
they got
creatures.
like hurt, they would grow in size. They
Yeah.
were like demon hulks. They would get more angry, and you wouldn't like it when they were angry.
Yeah. The more you beat them, the bigger they grew.
Dad? Not about my actual father. It was just funny. Sorry, Mom.
Hi, Randall.
Very, very bad time to make that joke as they're moving back in together. You did what? But so all hell breaks loose in this like janky ass magic show.
All probably at like a hotel or something like
Yeah,
that.
it's like a conference center.
Yeah.
And so Donnie's like, "Oh, I fucked up." So he goes to Wong, and Wong's like, "I fucking told you, you're an idiot. I need help." Goes to Jennifer Walters' apartment while she's about to, brown chicken, brown cow
Yeah.
with Senor Fuckboy.
Yeah.
And she's like,
Wow. You had to call him a brown cow, didn't you?
"Wow, that's mean. That's not what I meant at all."
I knew you were gonna get mad about that.
Because, the brown chicken, wow, brown chicken, brown cow.
She was definitely about to sit on his mushroom tip and Wong
Or his face, but he'd probably die from that one because, those thighs just... Death by snoo.
The Boys, season 1, reverse. If you don't know, if you know, you know. If you don't, I'm not going to go into it any further.
But so they go and fight off all the demons, basically tell Donnie Blaze, like, you're going to settle this.
Yeah.
Like, you just lost your court case. And he's like, yeah, okay, whatever. Things go back to whatever. Jennifer Walters goes back as She-Hulk to her apartment, picks up the dude, carries him off to bed.
Doesn't Wong like open a portal and she like drops onto the guy's like lap basically.
Yeah.
And she's just like, "Oh hey, where were we?"
And there's like demon guts like dripping off of her.
Yeah. And he's like, "You have something," and she's like, "Oh, it's just demon," and like throws it to the side. It's funny. And then she cradles him and carries him across the threshold to the Bounty Chicken.
I would let her carry me like that anywhere. Anywhere for anything. Just saying that.
I don't know about that.
She could carry me like that and be like, "Now clean my bathroom." I'd be like, "Okay," and I'd like clean the bathroom.
I would maybe jump on her back and be like, "Give me a piggyback ride." I don't know if I would let her just like scoop me up and like.
Oh, I would.
Yeah. I know.
No shame. No shame. No shame in that at all. They do the deed, if you will, off screen, just like Captain America did in 1943.
The USO tour.
Yeah, because he fucks. In the morning, she like makes breakfast. She's back as Jennifer Walters because, as we learned earlier, anytime she falls asleep, she transforms back into Jennifer Walters.
And she's happy. She's like, "Damn, I just got some D."
And it was a nice guy that like cared about like me and my life. And well, yeah, unfortunately, she was definitely duped. And he comes out and he's like, "Who are you?" And she's like, "I'm Jen. I'm just not like green right now." He's like, "Oh." She's like, "I made breakfast." And he's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go." And just like leaves. And she's like, "Well, I fucked up." Shortly after that, there's a knock at her door. It's definitely a very obvious process server serving
Which
her.
she recognizes right away. She's like, I'm a lawyer. I know what you're doing here. What?
Yeah. He's like, you're being sued by Titania, who we met in the first episode, kicks the crap out of the courtroom. Hadouken. And Jennifer Walters is like, if she's trying to sue me for that fight for assault or anything like that, she's never gonna win. He's like, nope, she's suing you for infringing upon a trademark. And it turns out that Titania trademarked the name She-Hulk after that fight because Jen never did.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where the episode ends.
But this is where we think we're going to get Matt Murdock in the show because now that Jennifer is being sued, Matt Murdock / Daredevil. Sorry, but if you didn't know who Matt Murdock was, you might be in the wrong place. But but now she's going to need a lawyer and she can't represent herself. And we know that Matt Murdock, after Spider-Man 3, or No Way Home, Spider-Man No Way Home, that he represents able, super able people.
Not even just that, he's just very much a defense attorney that believes in people beyond that. I mean, he's even represented, Frank Castle, the Punisher, in the Netflix series and stuff like that. But I think that you're right, that's where we're going to see him, is that he's going to come into the picture as her lawyer. And then from there, which is ironic because Nelson and Murdoch, attorneys at law, avocados at law, have been known to go up against GK H&H, the law firm
that she works for.
Yeah. In the comics, like, he will pick up cases as the defense against them.
That still could happen. Maybe the firm that she works for fires her wrongfully because of this or something like that, and then he takes on her case to, you know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah,
we don't know. This
or just in the future, as she's still working there, because she does work there in the comics as well for quite a while, and they have been on opposing sides in the courtroom.
But in the trailer, we do see Matt Murdock as Daredevil as well. So I imagine while he is in town defending her, get it? The defenders. All right. Anyways,
keep going.
That he will also do some crime fighting as well, and she's probably pretty smart, and we'll figure out that
they're the same person.
Yeah, they're one and the same.
Yeah. And also, they did release a mid-season trailer for the second half of the season, and we see Matt Murdock talking to Jennifer Walters, being like, "You are in a really important position here. You are here to use the law to help people that the system has failed, but also when the law fails them, you can still help." Kind of as the pep talk to let her embrace the fact that she has the ability to be a hero.
Because she is also resistant against being a superhero.
Yeah.
She said it in the first episode. I'm not a superhero. I just want to go back to my life.
Yeah.
And so, it'll be I think that'll be the undertone of the show, is her realizing that with great power comes great
responsibility. Responsibility.
Oh.
Anyways, the show is great. We do have an end credit scene where it is just Madison with 2 N's and a Y, and Wongers watching.
Isn't it 2 Y's and an N?
No, it's 2 N's and a Y, but not where you think.
Not where you think.
Funny, we didn't mention it, but when she is the witness in the courtroom, and that's how she says it. She's like, 2 N's and a Y, but not where you think. And the other lawyer out in the opposing side, Donnie Blaze's lawyer, you see him writing her name, cross it out, and rewrite it when she's forced to spell it. Because he's like, oh yeah, I put the Y not where I thought.
Just for shits, I just want to mention this. the guy who is Donnie Blaze's manager or whatever he is,
Hmm.
the old guy, uh, he's 104 years old. He is the oldest
Oh yeah,
uh actor like in like acting
in
business right now.
and in the MCU as
Yeah,
well.
which
The
is
second
crazy.
oldest was it in Shang-Chi? I don't know. There was another older actress. I don't remember if it was Shang-Chi or Doctor Strange, but the second oldest person was 96.
The guy did not look 104 years
No,
old.
he looks
That's
great for his age.
crazy. Yeah.
But also good for him.
Yeah.
So that's where the episode ends. We are going to go ahead and transition into talking about the Rings of Power. So, for all of you Lord of the Rings fans out there, there's a new show on Amazon Prime called The Rings of Power. And my God, is this show just so great.
Yeah. You're a little bit I'm only on the first two episodes, so you're one episode ahead of me. But we're only gonna talk about the first two episodes today. And before we start, spoiler alert, as always.
As always.
Check back in.
This first, before we talk about any sort of like plot details, what's going on, this is so beautifully shot. The cinematography is fantastic. I'd say 98% of the CGI is impeccable. There's a couple scenes where you're like, that looks a bit off. But it's also for like a streaming TV show, so
Yeah.
can't expect it to be perfect. It looks great.
Yeah. It's a
And they're
lot of
back in
fun.
New Zealand filming. So
Mhm.
a lot of the landscapes are still on par with Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit and stuff like that. Before two things before we even talk further into it. This isn't truly canon because it's based on little stories from like the Silmarillion and the Untold
Mhm.
Tales from J.R.R. Tolkien. It's just reimagined to kind of tell the background to the Lord of the Rings.
That's actually what I wanted because a lot of Lord of the Rings fans were unhappy with Peter Jackson's version of the stories,
Yeah, he cut out
including
entire plot lines. I mean,
and changed shit too.
mm-hmm.
So yeah, I and not that this is the Lord of the Rings. This is before that. So,
Yeah,
we're not going to get to see, probably not going to get to see a retelling of the stories that we already know.
yeah.
But this will be something new that we can sink our teeth into, and I think it's safe to say that you definitely can. This show is fantastic.
And it's set in the world, so there's things that are familiar about it for the fans. And it
Hmm.
does take storylines again from like the Silmarillion and
Hmm.
the Untold Tales to fill in the history that leads to the Hobbit and the Lord of the Rings. And the Hobbit, you can't even call it the Hobbit, but
It is a little canon, which we talked about.
yeah.
Well, we'll get into. We'll get there. We'll get there.
The
My
the
bad.
second thing is to leading off that to how it's not canon, but it kind of is canon.
Hmm.
Is they're taking these stories, but it's a condensed timeline.
Hmm.
So things that spanned over the course of because this takes place in the Second Age, which was 3,441 years, according to Tolkien. They're doing it, like episode by episode sort of thing, where, some years have passed, but not hundreds or thousands of years. It kind of picks up, a few hundred years into the Second Age,
Hmm.
but a lot is already starting to happen that is supposed to span like thousands of years. Also, don't be racist.
Oh yeah,
We're
again,
just going to
come
throw
on.
that out there. Don't be. It's a fantasy world. If you're concerned with skin color because it's based on the Middle Ages, no, it's not. It's a fantasy world.
Yeah, it's a
If
made up world
if
of elves and orcs and wizards.
yeah, and if
Yeah,
seeing
twat.
people of color portray these characters bothers you, get fucked and stay fucked.
Yeah,
Like just go away. There's
Pretty
no
sure the
place for you.
authors would tell you the same thing.
Probably, hopefully.
Quit being a twat.
Don't be a twat. All right, Jake. The first couple episodes does a lot of what?
Character introduction and building.
Yeah.
We get to meet a lot of people, including our star, Galadriel, female. This is something that Chad and I have been talking about. We love a well done female lead role, and this is by all means a well done female lead role.
Just
Power
showing
to
how like
power to you.
powerful and strong-willed and capable she is,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and it's done so well.
Fuck, this whole episode's about badass female lead roles.
It
Our
is.
our our episode our
Yeah.
episode of the
Yeah,
podcast,
all three
not
things that we're talking about.
yeah, She-Hulk,
Some
Galadriel,
men
and
get to
then
be involved, but
yeah,
the
yeah,
the
they're there,
women rule the world.
but yeah.
Who run the world?
Um,
Girls do. Beyonce.
Let's try to take my ring off.
That's funny.
It's funnier on YouTube. Go watch.
Yep.
Anyways, man, this is fucking crazy. So the main character, Galadriel, she's an elf, uh, and she is hunting like orcs and trying to find
Sauron.
Sauron. Yeah,
Yeah.
which we know from Lord of the Rings. Sauron.
And we also
Well,
know Galadriel from Lord of the Rings, but it's
mhm.
an older Galadriel. She's kind of given up her leadership of armies just to be a peaceful leader of elves. But it starts off with them hunting orcs and the dark wizard Sauron, who is the successor to Morgoth, who comes from like the first age, basically was the one that
Yeah.
tried to overtake Middle Earth.
Yeah. We should have mentioned maybe in the beginning there that the elves leave their the way they make it look on a map is like a continent to continent, but in the books it's more of like they're leaving their world to Middle Earth,
Yeah.
which is yeah. So it's confusing if you haven't read the books, and I haven't read all the books, but I do know that the elves are more like angelic than
Yeah.
yeah, in a sense.
They were created by I don't want to say the name of the race, but basically the creators of the world created the elves, and they lived in like it was the Garden of Eden to put it in Western
Yeah.
terms.
Yeah.
And they leave that when intruders steal knowledge, take it to Middle Earth, use it for evil. They
Yeah.
go and create alliances with like the race of men.
The Avengers.
Yeah. Dun dun dun. Dun. But they fight back Morgoth, who is trying to just control the planet and Middle Earth. And they,
This yeah.
yeah, they're
Sorry, this gives a lot more context to in the Lord of the Rings movies that you have seen with Viggo Mortensen and
yeah, they
Frodo and
they
all-
come from the Western lands where at the end of Return of the King, like
Yeah.
Frodo and Bilbo and Gandalf and the elves sail west back to this
Mm-hmm.
land that is
heaven.
yeah, basically heaven. It's
Frodo basically died at the end of Lord of the Rings.
immortality. Well, he gets to live forever, but in like perfect
Yeah.
health in paradise.
Yeah. But anyways, it gives more context to that. That's all I was trying to say is that when they talk about Middle Earth in the Lord of the Rings, in the actual Lord of the Rings, they never really explain what Middle Earth is. They just say Middle Earth,
Yeah,
but
it's
yeah,
Pangea,
yeah,
and the Undying Lands is this westward land of the elves and immortality, basically.
I think one of my favorite things about this show so far, and that this isn't scripted, sorry, dude. Two things. The orcs look way more badass, and two, the orcs are more badass. Like they're strong. They're not like someone who's gonna get beaten up by a human like 100 to 1. These guys
Yeah.
are fucking throwing houses around and shit, dude.
Well,
It's
there's a reason for that. So in Lord of the Rings, what most people just call orcs are actually Orokai. They're like half breeds of orcs and like elves and humans. Um, where orcs and goblins are basically the same thing, where they're super strong but they're sensitive to light, but they're
yeah, because
savage and
orcs
vicious.
used to be elves at
Or
one point.
Orokai, according to Peter Jackson in Tolkien's, they're kind of just like half breeds.
Yeah. Conversation off camera. We'll
Yeah,
talk about that.
yeah,
But yeah. But these orcs are badass. They're super strong. They're fucking just demonic looking, which is awesome. I
yeah.
love that darker tone to it. Not that I didn't like the orcs, but they were kind of like the orcs in Lord of the Rings are a little corny and funny. These are creepy and
Yeah.
strong and darker. It's cool. It's really cool.
And just vicious.
Like the scene in episode 2, again, spoiler alert, where an orc comes up through the floor. I mean, this dude is scary, scary nails, stands up straight, not like hunched over like a flying monkey from Wizard of Oz, you
Yeah.
know, and he is just tossing people across the room. It is intense. Yeah,
Gets
love it.
stabbed multiple times, doesn't go down. Like,
Hung.
basically, it takes beheading him to stop him.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
awesome. It's really good.
It's wild. Yeah.
Which makes hopefully makes for a battle scene later on even more intense because they're just not,
They
you
don't go
know,
down with like a
yeah.
left hook.
I feel like referencing, Austin Powers when Austin Powers' dad is
Judo
like,
chop.
you don't even have a badge. You're not even that important. If I were you, I would just lay down. Like that's the way they made the orcs seem in Lord of the Rings. It was just like a comical like I killed 20. How many did you kill? Between Legolas and Gimli.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And this it takes on a different tone. The orcs are way more intense.
Yeah.
So I'm
Absolutely.
excited about that. I'm excited about that. Sorry.
No, I
We
I
didn't write that
completely agree,
down.
and I completely agree. I'm so excited to see the dynamic that happens with the orcs because they are much more terrifying.
Hmm.
Um, we also get introduced to a young Elron, and he's playing the politician. He's trying to not go to war. He's trying to gain favor, and he gets sent to a different part of. I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm sorry. It's not. They're not in Rivendell. They're like actually in Middle Earth, but it's the Elven city that. And he goes to help a famous like historian and smith of the Elven community, and he has plans to make powerful relics that are on the level of the Cimmerils. They're ancient elvish things. Sorry, not to get too nerdy.
You're fine.
We just don't have time to get as nerdy as I want to.
We're talking. We got 3 shows to talk about, so we kind
Yeah.
of gotta.
This will be a little bit of a longer episode, but we're gonna try and hone it in a bit. So he works with this other elf to go and talk to the dwarves who can help them build this forge to make these relics that they're trying to make. I'm assuming that this is the forge that makes the rings of power.
Mhm.
Well, ironic. It's the show name. If you guys aren't watching, you didn't see how badly I just rolled my eyes. Um, and that's where a lot of the conflict will come from because Elrond doesn't know the darkness that's going to come from it.
Yeah.
We get to
That's
see
my.
him go to Moria, though, which is cool.
Yeah. Yes.
Before the
is.
lands around the mountain is flooded,
Hmm.
which we
You
see
got.
in the
You
Fellowship.
would. You would have seen this in the Fellowship of the Ring, when
But we see
Gimli.
like the ruins and the tomb of Moria.
Yeah, yeah. Gimli kind of takes that when they go through the mines. He's like, "Oh, my family will be here. They'll, give us meat and, food and blah blah blah," and they're all dead.
Yeah,
So it's very in Lord of the Rings, it's very dead and desolate and controlled by orcs. But in this show, which is, a long time before that, uh, it's very beautiful and lit up and, you know, lively, if you will.
yeah, and they found a way to like grow vegetation
Yeah.
in the heart of a mountain. You know, they
Hmm.
have trees and grass and
Yeah.
plants and all of it. It's all there.
Probably one of my favorite parts is we get introduced to a new character. Yeah, character.
Yeah,
I'm thinking video games in my head. I'm like, character, that's not the right word. But yeah,
yeah,
yeah. We get introduced to a new character. He's human, as far as we know. Galadriel meets him on a boat, or if you can call it that. It's more of like a
yeah.
piece of wood floating.
Yeah, she abandons her post because after she jumps off the ship as it's being sailed west, but she's
Hmm.
like, "There's still Sauron's still out there. I have to find him." So she jumps off the ship, stranded at sea, finds this raft. Now continue. I'm sorry.
No, it's cool. It's just there's a cool sea monster, and I really liked it. I thought it was really cool. I always like a good creature or a creature movie, and this was a cool one. I also like there's a with this new character. What's his name? Do you remember his name?
Halbrand.
Yeah, he. There's a moment between the two of them that I really really liked where he's talking about his village being destroyed and how she would never understand what he's going through. And she basically just puts him in his place and is like, I've lived, you know, X amount of years longer than you. The amount of time it would take you to name the people that I've lost would take your entire lifetime. So don't tell me that I don't understand what you're
Yeah,
going through. Yeah, it was, and he basically just is like, "Huh."
yeah. She
Yeah.
she's a commander of the Northern armies. She's led hundreds, if not thousands, of elves. Majority of them have died in battle, and he's like, "I've lost stuff too. You don't get it." And she's like, "Oh, sit down."
Yeah. It was a really cool scene. I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so they kind of escape the worm, and there's a storm. She gets ripped from the raft because the raft kind of starts to break apart, and she's trying to hold it together, but gets wrapped up in the ropes, gets dragged down, and he goes in after her to save her.
Yeah. She dies and no, I'm just kidding.
And that's the end of the show. Cool.
Yeah.
Two
Yeah,
episodes.
it's only 2 episodes long.
Did nothing to further the plot. uh, no, but he saves her, and they get rescued by a ship and a shadowy figure. And that's kind of where
Mhm.
episode 2 ends. However, we did miss a huge aspect.
Oh yeah. Yep. The
Basically,
stranger danger.
the Harfoots, which are the ancestors that would become hobbits.
Hmm.
They're basically the gatherers, hunter gatherers. Constantly traveling. Uh, later become hobbits in the future.
Yeah.
We get to meet some of them. Basically, where their camp is set up, we see a meteor crash down not too far from it, and two young Harfoots go to explore what it is. One of them is Nori, who's kind of like the main Harfoot that we get to know. I don't remember the other Harfoot's name, but they see a man laying in this crater where this meteor came from. And he's just labeled as the stranger at this point in time.
One of them falls into basically when it hits the ground, it creates like a crater of like fire and ash, or
Yeah.
like, and one of them falls into the crater and doesn't burn.
Yeah.
It actually says, I'm fine. It's actually cold. It's not burning at
Yeah.
all. And there's a naked stranger danger laying in the middle of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
can't really speak, but he's like scribbling on the ground, like trying to communicate through writing.
Mm-hmm.
Clearly has magical powers. Jake and I disagree on who this person could be.
Mm-hmm.
I hope that Jake is right, but from like the stuff that I've looked into and know about this is why I have this theory.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. I think that this is a younger Gandalf. Because
Back it up, and then I'll say mine, and I'll back up
he's
why I think.
knows sorcery, magically inclined, speaks to insects to have them create, visualizations to help Nori and her friend
Mm-hmm.
as to what's going on, at least asking for help through it. But we also see him like scribbling in the dirt with a twig, and he creates a sigil. And it's kind of like a weird looking F, capital F. The reason that I think it's Gandalf is because Mithrandir, or Orin, as Odorin, as the dwarves call him, the sigil that he draws is what is his Maiar name. The Maiar are basically seen as wizards and warlocks in Lord of the Rings, but they are the angels of the world. They've been sent by the creators to protect the world.
Mm-hmm.
But he scribbles the sigil that is for Gandalf in the dirt, which leads me to believe that it's Gandalf. I don't want it to be Gandalf because Gandalf doesn't show up in Middle-earth until the Third Age, and this is middle way through the Second Age, so it breaks continuity more than what the rest of the show is doing on a condensed timeline.
I think that it's Sauron because they mention in whatever that only in the most like evil entities that fire burns cold. And Gandalf never was or is at any point an evil person or whatever entity, even when he's introduced. So I think that this is a more sinister thing. And they kind of show it too when he gets pissed in the episode and everything starts turning black and all the trees start bending and shit. Like, I don't know. I think it's Sauron, but the only reason that it probably isn't Sauron is because Sauron already exists at this point and they're hunting Sauron. So I don't know.
Another reason why I think that it is Gandalf is because Gandalf has an unusual love for the hobbits, even though they, up until the Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit and like Bilbo and Frodo, don't do a lot in the means of protecting Middle Earth, but he has this like undying love for them. And I think it's because of this, because Nori shows him friendship. Because we also see in the Fellowship of the Ring when he's yelling at Frodo, he gets a little bit bigger, lights dim, all of that. That's why I think it's Gandalf. I'm hoping to be wrong because of
I don't
continuity.
know. You might be swinging my dick the other way at this point with that shit. Yeah, I don't know.
We'll see though.
Yeah.
And this is also coming from like I am an episode ahead of Jake. There's still not answers in episode 3. To spoil that one thing for you, Jake. But we'll find out.
Bastard. We have a whole nother show to talk about here.
So
we gotta
move on.
We gotta piece out of this conversation.
Fuck this shit, I'm out.
That seems like a good place to plug sponsor number 2.
100%.
Sponsor number 2 is Crybaby Craig's Hot Sauce. It's a pickled habanero and garlic hot sauce that goes on practically anything, and I mean anything. So listen up, we'll tell you a little more about it.
Hey you nerds, do you love spice? Supporting small businesses? What about enhancing the flavor of your favorite foods? If you said yes to any of those, our good friends over at Crybaby Craig's have the perfect solution for you. Crybaby Craig's is a pickled habanero and garlic hot sauce that goes perfectly with your favorite foods. adding the perfect amount of spice and enhancing the flavor of everything it touches. Started in Minneapolis by Craig back in 2012, Crybaby Craig's has become a Minneapolis and Minnesota staple in the sauce world. So head over to crybabycraigs.com and order yours today. All right, everyone. So we also are going to talk about House of the Dragon. This was episode 4 on HBO Max. And spoiler alert, right off the bat. But also, well, before we get into that, this episode takes place about a year after the last episode.
Yeah.
Rhaenyra has been sitting through countless meetings of all the lords of the land trying to be like, I can marry you.
Yeah. They all want to dick her down for...
Probably in Dallas.
Yeah.
Sorry, there's a song called Dick Down in Dallas. That's hilarious. But still hasn't chosen a suitor. Because we know that Viserys gave her the choice at the end of the last episode to,
Pick
as long as she gets
wants.
married, she has a say. But she has to marry. She basically walks out like halfway through one of these sessions of grandiose, dumb proposals. And is like, I'm out of here.
Yeah, because he was like a 12-year-old kid.
Yeah, but then did you notice in the episode that he's being like ridiculed by a knight and he draws his sword and then kills him? Yeah.
The kid kills the knight, which is like, goddamn.
Yeah. He wasn't lying when he's like, I could protect you. You're like, yeah, whatever, kid. And then he slays a grown man with training.
Yeah, but there's only like 4 to 5 people that she actually wants to sleep with, and one of them, the top of that list, would be her uncle.
Bam, 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 bam. What are you doing, step uncle?
Yeah, we see Daemon again. He's got less hair, which is pretty emo. He's got some weird, definitely some, God damn it, I can't think of the name.
Okay.
Tom Felton.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like if it wasn't slicked back.
Draco Malfoy.
Jesus Christ, I'm off my game.
Just wait till his father hears about this.
Oh, yeah, yeah. But,
speaking of his father, when Daemon was a young boy, his father took him into the city to see the marching band.
You're an idiot.
You walked me into it, and I made that joke off camera, and I was like, I can't pass this up.
But Daemon, which we've been getting the creepy vibes all season so far, that he wants to bang. We've mentioned it in our podcast that I'm pretty sure he wants to bang his niece, and that came to fruition in this episode.
As gross as that situation already is,
you liked it?
No, he made a way to make it more creepy.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it was weird.
Yeah,
super weird.
And 100% Daemon is only trying to bang her to piss off his brother. Like, he is grooming her for political advantage.
Yeah.
And it's gross.
And kind of working.
Oh, it's definitely working for her.
Yeah, she was all about Daemon's D.
Yeah, he basically sneaks her out of her bedroom through like secret passages, gets her out of the Red Keep. They go to Flea Bottom, I'm assuming, because, you know, it's just that's where the brothels are, and takes her into a back room and plays just the tip.
Yeah, they
didn't know it was a church camp as well, but
is there something you need to tell us, Chad?
No. But seriously, no. But yeah, they
get frisky.
They get frisky.
Like more than just like some heavy petting.
No, they start to bone.
Yeah, they start it.
it's like he rounded third base to go home
Hmm.
and then gave up partway through. Because
Yeah.
then he just like walks away and Rhaenyra's just kind of like standing there and like pulls her pants up and like
Yeah.
walks away.
Hmm. But then she goes back home, and her knight in
Sir Kristen?
mediocre armor uh takes her down in the palace.
Not in Dallas, Dick Down in Palace.
Got dick down in palace.
I like that you know the melody. That means I did my job in showing you because I'm pretty sure I showed you that song.
You did,
And I've
yeah,
played it
yeah.
many a time. I love
It's
that
like
song.
Russell Dickerson.
I don't know. I could look it up if you want to tell that joke.
No, no, that's fine. No,
Okay.
we're good.
Uh, but yeah. So then she bangs Sir Kristen, which
Yeah,
also like breaks his oath.
yeah,
So not only is she like committing incest and being gross, she's also just like ruining this dude's future if it
yeah,
ever comes to light.
yeah. Also, when she let her uncle slip inside her, it was in front of a bunch of people.
Yeah, it was in a whorehouse,
People saw.
including a child.
Mm.
Or what Lord Varys from Game of Thrones would have
Hmm.
said his little birds.
Yeah,
But we see that kid like get up and walk over to someone and hand them money and whisper in their ear, or he gets handed money and whispers in their ear. And it turns out that the person that he's whispering to is Damon's mistress.
his hooker girlfriend from the first episode,
Yeah.
where she's like,
Yeah.
"I can put on a blonde wig if you want." Yeah,
Yeah.
that girl. Yeah.
Her. And the news gets back to uh, Otto. Otto Hightower, played by
Hmm.
Reese Ifans.
Yeah. And then he tells Dada,
The king.
the King.
Yeah. Wrong universe.
That wrong universe, sorry.
And how does Viserys take the news?
He gets really horny and starts masturbating to the thought of it. Because it's all a bunch of
Mm,
incest in this show. No? Okay. Anyways, he gets really mad about it.
that was a bit gross. That might have been a little too far. It's not getting cut. It's not
No.
getting cut because
No.
wiener, wiener, wiener.
No, he gets pissed. He's mad. He doesn't believe him. Um, yeah, it's fucked up.
And calls out Otto for being a manipulator.
Mhm. Oh yeah, that
And
was a cool part.
strips him of the title of being Hand of the King.
Yeah, yeah. Hand to the king. Um, and but a
I mean,
cool part
he's
that
only the Hand of the King because the king is missing a couple fingers. You need the full grip.
but it is kind of a cool part because he does acknowledge that he knows that Otto placed his wife, now wife, which is Otto's daughter, in his life. He's like, that was a manipulation. You've been manipulating me this whole time. I know that you're a piece of shit. He's like, the realm owes you for what you've done for us, but I know that you've been fucking playing me from the get go. And he
Yeah,
takes his hand to the king pen and tells him to fucking eat shit and die.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because I guess I didn't really know this up until this past episode that uh, Otto Hightower has been the Hand of the King for this is the third king that he's served.
Yeah. But he went
So
from nobody to hand to the king
yeah,
because he's a manipulator. He's Littlefinger.
yeah.
He is Littlefinger.
Well,
Yeah.
the Hightowers came to power when the Targaryens first conquered, but they didn't hold a seat at court. They just
Yeah.
became a prominent family because they were Sweden. They
Yeah.
they stayed out of all the conflicts, refused to fight in the wars because of their religion and beliefs. And
There's a huge confrontation between Daemon and his brother, Viserys, uh, where he's like, "Hey man, like I know you're trying to fuck my daughter."
yeah,
I don't like it.
I don't like
And
it.
and Damon's like, I do like it. You should give her to me. And he's like, fuck you, psycho. You're not getting my daughter.
Yeah.
And it's weird. It's a weird scene. He even at one point pulls a knife and puts it to Damon's throat and is just like, I should fucking kill you right now. And I'm just like, do it. Do it. He's gonna come back. I know he's gonna come back later and he's gonna
Yeah.
fuck you up. Slit his throat. You have him in the prime spot. He didn't do it, and Damon's definitely gonna come back and fuck this dude up at some point. I'm positive that that's gonna be the outcome. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Those of you that
Uh,
have read of Fire and Blood, it's coming. Uh, a lot is coming. Oh, like coming. That's gross. Sorry. Uh,
uh,
despite how like creepy horny this episode was, it's still a
turned you
very
on.
no
Oh,
stop.
sorry.
It's a very good episode because it builds on that tension. And before, when it was like Damon versus Viserys and Rhaenyra was like kind of in the middle, like now there's the three heads to the dragon. You know, now there's sides, and which
Yeah.
way is Rhaenyra going to go, because she clearly was into being with her uncle,
And her
but
uncle was into her, so
literally,
physically.
yeah, quite literally. Uh, but she also has her duties as being the daughter of the king and the heir to the throne, and all of it. So it's
She
setting
agrees to
up.
marry. She does agree to marry.
Yeah. Oh, I did not remember to write down his name. Lord Corlys
Son.
Valerian's son.
Yeah.
He was the dragon rider from the last episode, the older sister of the child that the king was supposed to marry
Mm-hmm.
in episode
Mm-hmm.
2. Yeah, so all that's coming to fruition, and we'll see where it goes from here. But tensions are high. This did not have hardly any action when it in the terms of battle. It had a different kind of action, uh, but sorry,
Yeah.
dueling banjos. Uh, I'm excited to see where the show goes.
Yeah. Final words here. The Maester, Grand Maester, Grand Maester, or just Maester
He is the Grand Maester because
Yeah.
he's on the High Council.
gives Rhaenyra a tea, and she's like, "Oh, tea," and he's like, "Yes, tea," and she's like, "What kind of tea?" And he's like, "It's the Plan B tea." Sorry, I stole your joke, but yeah, it was
It's
funny.
okay.
It's the morning after pill basically, but it's
Yeah.
in tea form.
Yeah, basically to
And
make sure that whatever had happened the night
between
before,
her uncle or
Sir
her
Kristen.
whore, I almost said whore, not intentional.
Yeah,
Uh, she had two penises in her within about a half an hour, and one of them could be the Faja.
if there would be a Faja.
Yeah,
Yeah, so she's given an
But the-
an oopsie tea.
but they don't show her drink it. She just looks at it, and then it's credits.
Yeah,
Yeah. So who knows?
who knows? So we're gonna go ahead and close out this episode, but before we do, as you all know, there's just a few housekeeping things that we need to talk to you about. One of them is, Jake, your favorite line.
Give us your money.
Yeah, please.
We put all of our own money into this, so a little bit here and there would help, so that we can give you guys better content and get some, better guests on here and stuff like that. But
Yeah, and
I
some
I feel like for how small the podcast we are, we've had some
we've
out
had,
of our league guests on this show.
oh, absolutely, we've had some incredible guests in the past year and a half that we've been doing this, almost 2 years.
Yeah.
With Oh,
Oh,
I
I
started it
on,
with that
I
being
only
said.
have my shot in
Mm,
here. My beer is gone.
just pretend. Uh, we've yeah, we've been very fortunate with the guests that we've had, but like Jake said, we put all of our own money into this. You know, if you're in a position to where you like what we're doing, you want to contribute, we have options to do that. You can join our Patreon page. It's a monthly subscription. You get some behind the scenes, some bonus stuff, as well as insights and not just bonus merch, just like bonus content, which is super
You
cool.
do you do get some cool shit though. I mean,
Yeah.
because I'm one of the people who actually puts money into this podcast. You get like coffee mugs, multiple t-shirts. You get
Yeah.
behind the scenes stuff. You get like our merchandise. It's not just like hey, here's
For a
a
cup of coffee a
sticker.
day.
Yeah, here's a sticker and a 5 minute clip of what we talk about behind the scenes. You actually get shit, like cool
Yeah.
shit. So it's worth it. I mean, I'm doing it and I'm like, dude,
He can get this shit
yeah,
for free.
yeah. It's cool.
He's
I would
there
do
for a lot of the behind the scenes. And by that I mean all the behind the scenes.
it.
He is there. Uh, if a monthly giving is not something that you're able to do or want to do, totally understand. We do also have our web store. It's at allthingsnerdpodcast.com. Some cool stuff now that we're getting into the fall time and spooky season. There should be some new seasonal merch dropping at some point in
hmm
time. That is there as well.
Yeah.
And if you don't want to give us your money, I mean, fine,
Give
I
us your
guess.
money.
But if that's not something that you want to do, we totally understand. If you just like, subscribe, and share the show,
Yeah.
whether
Pass it
it's
along.
YouTube, wherever you listen to your podcast, even our social medias, pass it to other people. That helps us as much, if not more, than money.
And you guys have been doing amazing. I mean,
Yeah.
it's been a very slow progress, but we are growing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we have more listeners now than we've ever had. So,
Than we ever
uh,
thought we would have
yeah,
when we decided to do this. We just
yeah,
figured we love to talk about this stuff. Let's record it and hopefully other people will enjoy it. And you seem to. So thank you. And it's been a great journey and we're excited to keep going along this and sharing our nerdum and
yeah.
thoughts. And thank you guys. We love you. And Jake?
This has been the All Things Nerd Podcast.
Cheers.